Teofimo Lopez and the new champion shuts down Lomachenko's hopes of a rematch. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Make sure you guys use my link in the description of all my videos. ESPN Plus. Sign up. This week you have Justin Gaethje versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Should be a good fight. It is coming on earlier in the daytime because of the time zone and the market. It's going to be in Abu Dhabi. Make sure if you guys want to order that, you can use my link, and it does help the channel grow in such a phenomenal way. ESPN Plus, they got a ton of original content, docuseries, documentaries for your viewing pleasure. ESPN Plus, you can get it as a standalone app, or you can bundle it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps, one price, $12.99 a month. ESPN by itself, $5.99. Now, let's get it. Teofimo Lopez, very impressive performance over Lomachenko. I knew he could do it. In fact, I predicted him to beat Lomachenko. I stated my reasons. A lot of them came true. And, you know, it was up to Teofimo and his team and his dad to get it done. And they executed, and they did it, oh, so beautifully. Now Lomachenko is, you know, pandering to his fans, saying he's injured and he came into the fight with an injury in the shoulder. Just, you don't usually like to see a two-time gold medalist go out like this, you know, where now their team is putting out information about his shoulder, making it like that's the reason he lost, and he had surgery, emergency surgery after the fight and stuff like that. Anyway, link in the description. The TMZ has an interview with Teofimo Lopez where Teofimo made it clear for what. He said, him. He said, F Lomachenko. Why should I rematch him? For what? I beat him down, whooped him, and I did it convincingly. And ironically enough, everything that I've said in my post-fight about the fight, you're really hearing it from Teofimo and his dad as well. You know, so I must not be that far off the mark. I agree with them. What's the point of the rematch? Usually in boxing, a rematch has to be earned. You know, like Sean Porter, if Errol Spence rematches him, he's earned that because the first fight was real good and real close. The knockdown could have been the determining factor in giving the fight to Errol. You know, it was that close. This wasn't. This wasn't close. Teofimo came out. He asserted himself with his boxing IQ and ring IQ. He controlled the real estate. He made Lomachenko gun shy. Lomachenko wasn't doing the frenetic movement, jackrabbit, jittery stuff. And he neutralized and nullified everything that Loma was doing, especially for the first 7 rounds. Loma showed some signs of life that he wanted to be there in the rounds after, but then he lost a pivotal round he would have needed. You know, no matter how you scored it, if you're being real, he would have needed the 12th round because he lost and gave up so many rounds early. And even the TMZ dude, and I don't really look to TMZ reporters for boxing knowledge, but he was saying, I watched the fight and I thought you clearly won. So, you know, even somebody like him, I don't know the dude, but, you know, he was able to see, like, casual fans, longtime fans, everybody watched Teofimo did his thing and beat Lomachenko and made the big bad wolf look not so big and bad and not even look like a wolf. To protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf. Are you a sheep or you a wolf? And that night, Teofimo was the wolf. So I feel him. Another thing is Teofimo in this interview, he depicted what happened in the post-fight. He said, after the fight, I went over to his side and I went and thanked him, you know, said thank you for a good fight, solid fight, you know, good fight, and safe travels. And he said Lomachenko looked at him and laughed and looked like, what are you doing over here? Like, you know, get off of my turf type of thing. And he said, all right, whatever. You know, I already whooped your ass. I did my part. So, you know, you could be butthurt. But Teofimo says, I knew I won, and I was basically sending them packing and sending them on their way. And he said they knew they lost. They knew they lost. And he's not lying. I will show you a picture at this point in this video. This is right before they read the scorecard. So, 3 judges scorecard. They hadn't revealed any of the scorecards yet, but they were just announcing that they were getting ready. They're like, after 12 rounds of action, here we go to the scorecards. And right around this point, this is Lomachenko's face. He looks blank. He looks bewildered. He looks like a lot of things are going through his mind. And he looks like he knows he lost the fight, which is exactly what Teofimo says. It's hard to fake body language. If you're confident and you're truly confident, it'll show. You'll exude that. It'll almost be seeping and coming from your pores. But if you're trying to pretend to be confident, but you're really not confident, there are going to be little subtle things to a keen or trained eye that they'll be able to see. Mike Tyson talks about it all the time where he said he used to stare guys down in the skullduggery. He said he'd be looking. He thought, I'm looking. And he said, and they cut away for that millisecond, and I know I got him. And Teofimo said he looked in Lomachenko's eyes and he could tell, that Lomachenko knew he lost the fight. So I agree with him. Teofimo also declared that he was going to stay at lightweight long enough to try to unify and fight Lomachenko. That's who he had his sights on. They're both top-ranked guys, so that was the easiest fight to probably put together, more so than fighting some of the other talented young lightweights with other promoters. And he did it. And he said he was going to 140, so I ain't mad at him. He said he's going to try to fight for undisputed up there versus the winner of Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, which is a good fight. And then if Teo gets the winner of that, that'll be a good fight. Great fights. So I'm not mad at Teofimo. He really has nothing to prove. He's 23. He beat Lomachenko. It wasn't close. People giving Lomachenko pity points or sympathy points, or even I noticed some people score like this, where if you do badly, like in certain rounds, and then this round you're doing a bit better than you did in the previous rounds, some people give you kind of those sympathy rounds. And I think Lomachenko got some sympathy rounds where, not to say he wasn't landing any good shots, because he was landing some good shots late in the fight, but the thing is, it didn't ultimately do enough to warrant the round necessarily. Like, for example, we're talking about a 3 minute round. Teofimo was working throughout, and because Lomachenko gets off and lands 3 consecutive punches or something, he steals the whole round. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily work like that unless these 3 punches were just so like round changing, and he was like drunk in there or something like that, where you were like, man, that just overshadowed all the good consistent work that the younger, stronger, and dedicated Teofimo was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just, it reminds me of kind of like, you look at fights like, let's say Pacquiao Bradley Part 1, same kind of concept. Bradley, some people, I thought Pacquiao won the first fight, but people act like it was so far apart, and I thought it was Pacquiao didn't look good in that fight, in that first fight, and I thought Bradley was doing some good work, and people were just giving the rounds to Pacquiao, even though Bradley won. I had Bradley losing the fight ultimately, but it was closer because Pacquiao didn't look sensational in that fight, and Bradley was working in some of those rounds. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. I think Teofimo just throughout the fight far more consistent. Lomachenko wasn't consistent. Even when he had successes, he couldn't keep it up. Like he couldn't, like I remember round 8, if you go watch that round again, I remember this one specifically. Round 8, Lomachenko, he started getting off on this offense, landing, he was doing some kind of rough stuff, boom, boom, boom. And he was touching Teofimo, pause. But towards the end of that round, Teofimo, he had this scowl on his face. He looked real focused and tapped in and zoned in, and he started walking Lomachenko down, and then he started landing some hard shots on Lomachenko. So he stood his ground. He took whatever Loma had coming, and he stood his ground and made sure Lomachenko couldn't further capitalize on that moment. And that's like a seesaw type of effect. So you combine that ending with the beginning of the round, and Teofimo wins some of those types of rounds in between rounds 8 and 11, I don't know about 8 specifically. I gotta watch, I gotta rewatch the fight. But what I'm saying in general is who did better, and who boxing scoring criteria is specific. You're supposed to be looking at defense, effective aggression, etc. And I thought Teofimo, his power, his speed, athleticism, and his willingness and his drive to win, Lomachenko never really, he never had, there was no round in the fight where Teo, I thought, did really horrible and Lomachenko just clearly like dominated that round. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say round 11 versus Pedraza. When Lomachenko fought Pedraza, it was just undeniable that was a Lomachenko round. I don't feel like he had many rounds like that where it was just one-way traffic, combined with the fact of he wasn't really doing much offensively and he was running and moving a lot. It just wasn't his night. So I don't blame Teofimo for not wanting to do a rematch, because what's the point? Lomachenko's just, now he's complaining, saying he has a shoulder problem, and he's not going to get any younger. He's had a lot of wear and tear from 400 plus fights in the amateurs, plus 15, 16 fights as a pro, and his body's breaking up, according to him, with these injuries and pain flare-ups, and that's what they're resorting to. So what's going to be different? Because he had some success in spots, and again, he didn't capitalize off it. Like, let's say he did good in round 11. What happened in round 12? Why wouldn't you be able to capitalize off the success that you had in just the previous round? You see what I'm saying? So Teofimo, I think Teofimo called it. He's a diva, arrogant. He thought he could just go in there and abuse Teofimo and take him to deep water and drown him. But the kid was smarter than he thought, bigger, stronger, could box better. He wasn't able to turn him, and he was faster on his feet, and he was turning with Lomachenko. It was a nightmare. So I don't see what a rematch would be much different, because now, if anything, Teofimo's more confident and he can pick up in certain spots. And if Lomachenko tries to come out faster, then he could end up getting hurt faster too, because Teofimo's clearly stronger than him. That much is apparent. I've seen multiple times where Lomachenko appeared to be hurt to me, or definitely respectful and hesitant. I never really seen that with Lomachenko. And people, you got to know how to break down boxing. Some people will score, oh, but look at Teo's face, his eyes. Yeah, but that was caused by a headbutt. I'm not going to give Lomachenko props for coming in with his head and fighting dirty and fighting rough and creating a cut and making a man need stitches, and his eyes are swelling because of that. There's a difference when you land a punch that opens up a cut versus you came in with your head crazy, So, link in the description. Let me know what you guys think. Teo says no, 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 no. Destiny's Child voice. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do you want to see a rematch? As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.